Hello, I'm Freya and I'm a researcher with the Open University. My current research is part of a PhD looking at ways to reduce carbon emissions from older buildings while retaining their heritage values. This research is focusing more on people's houses rather than large stately homes or castles, so buildings that individually may not be that obviously special. Collectively, however, these buildings make up the incredibly rich historic landscapes that we have in the UK, and which tell us a lot about life in the past. My research may not be the sort of thing that you would instantly come up with when you think of archaeology. I haven't spent much time with a trowel and spend much more time with a laser measure drawing floor plans, or, sadly, sitting in front of a computer than I do standing in trenches. However, if we think about archaeology as the study of physical remains, then you don't get much more physical than historic buildings. I've always loved finding out about the past, as I think it shapes the present in so many ways, and that we have to understand where we've come from to understand where we're going. I've had quite an eclectic route to my current role. I was home educated and I spent quite a lot of time enjoying historical things. I was an enthusiastic member of my local Young Archaeologists Club, which was great fun, and my mum and I also went on a couple of digs. I had one very proud moment where I discovered charcoal at a Bronze Age ship burial, which allowed it to be carbon dated. My other interest is in sustainability, so I did a degree in environmental and earth science. However, in my spare time, I'm a YAC leader, which is great because I get to come up with fun ideas for sessions. I'm also a Viking reenactor, focusing on historic combat, so I spend some weekends educating the public about the Vikings. I'd always sort of intended to have a career as a historian, so after my degree, I decided to do something about it and did a Master's in War Studies, otherwise known as Military History, at the University of Glasgow. Before I started the course, the head of the programme was a bit concerned because I lacked any qualifications in history. However, I ended up with a distinction, so I think it goes to show that qualifications aren't everything. As much as I enjoyed my Masters, I decided that I wanted to do something a little more hands-on, so I decided to return to environmental science. When I was being interviewed for a project on carbon reduction from buildings, I mentioned that I'd be interested in looking at historic buildings. I was contacted a few weeks later and asked if I'd like to write my own project proposal focusing on heritage buildings. This was awarded funding, and it's really great because it's environmentally relevant and I get to engage with archaeology and history as well. I enjoy finding out about the past because it's just so varied and so embedded in everything we do and how we live today. My research is also showing that some aspects of historic buildings can be positive for climate change mitigation as well. I think that if you're interested in something and enjoy it, you should follow it. It might not work out the way you imagine it would, but it will end up all right in the end because, to coin a phrase, if it's not all right, it's not yet the end.